Hey y'all, welcome back. This is part three. I think we had part three of hair color, so we're gonna jump right on in. If you don't know, hey, check out the last one, okay? Because we don't want to waste time. So we have natural based hair colors, okay? So your natural based hair colors, that would be they're usually hair color derived from flowers, herbs, different minerals, nuts, things of that nature. Henna is a very good example of a natural hair color, okay? Henna, it's been used for centuries. It's very good at staining the hair and doing a wonderful job at giving you color. I use henna on my brows. All right, so it's considered a permanent but natural hair color. Also, hennas do not use developer at all. You usually add a little warm water to it. You let it sit for a while, and then you apply it. Okay? You apply it, okay? Metallic hair colors, they're known as progressive hair colors. They contain metallic salts and they change your hair color gradually. So what that means is you apply it to your hair, and over time it will shift or change. I don't really see them used a lot, but I guess somebody somewhere is still using them. Okay. I don't know, but I have not seen them since I was in Cosmo, and that was like 20 years ago plus. Okay. So that part. But yeah, they're the main problems are they're unnatural looking. They kind of look a little harsh. They're very limited in colors, and you can't apply any other chemical services on top of a metallic hair color because you could cause breakage. So yeah, we're gonna stay away from those if possible. If possible, okay. And then also always do a patch test and a strand test on your client. Always, 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 always. The patch test will let you know if they have any allergies, and the strand test will let you know what their hair will look like when you complete the process. Okay. The next one thing that we're going to jump into is extremely damaged or faded hair and how we can fix that. So if you have hair that has been just fading, 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 I'm going to use red as my example today. And as usual, I will insert some images that kind of go along with what I'm talking about. And if you're new, I'm looking at my notes. So if you keep seeing me look down, that's the reason why. But you have conditioner fillers. They basically will add in color to that hair, and they also kind of help the damaged hair as well. So if you have red, red fades quick, okay? Every shampoo, you will see red in the water. So what a lot of people will do is use red shampoo, red conditioner, and that kind of fills the hair and just kind of refreshes the color without having to go through the whole process. Another tip you can do is cold water. Rinse your hair with cold water. Rinse your hair with cold, like don't get too hot with the water is what I'm trying to say. Now I love a good hot shampoo, but when you have red and you're trying to maintain that color, it's very hard. The hotter the water, the more and the quicker it fades. So what I would recommend is using a conditioner color filler. Add that red back into your hair and then rinse it with cold water to kind of seal that cuticle and help reduce the fading. They also, like I said earlier, it also helps strengthen your hair as well. You also have color fillers. They equalize your porosity. So let's say your hair is just all over the place. You got some pieces that are here, there, everywhere that will kind of fill and balance out your hair before a color service. People will use those sometimes. Also, regardless of why your hair needs to be colored, the goal is always to provide a balance. Okay, we always try to create balance. You don't want a lot of lines of demarcation when you're doing hair color, and that can kind of help out with that. Also, you can use it if you're concerned about hair turning an odd color when you cover. So, if you have a blonde and you know you're going to put on this black color on top, but you're scared it's going to turn green, you can use a red filler prior, and that will balance out the color as well. That's just a pro tip that you can use. They also they also can prevent your hair from looking so dull and not having that boldness when you're done with it. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you are doing that. The next thing I want to talk about is hydrogen peroxide because that's what we use to oxidize that hair color. Okay, so hydrogen peroxide is H2O2, if you don't know. So basically, water is H2O, hydrogen is peroxide is H2O2. So that means that for every two hydrogens, you have two oxygens. Okay. So what that is it's basically peroxide, but not. I wouldn't go grab peroxide out of my medicine cabinet. Okay, although they're, you know, cousins, the strength is not the same. So I've seen some people doing that on TikTok, but I wouldn't recommend. I'm just saying. But anyways, when you mix that hydrogen peroxide with the color, it supplies the necessary oxygen gas to open up the cuticles, and to get the hair color into the cortex and then seal everything in together. So it helps those molecules get into the cortex, and that is what makes the hair color permanent. Because remember, if it's just sitting on the outside of the cuticle, temporary. If it's kind of going a little in, semi-permanent. If it's kind of coming in a little bit more demi, and then if you're all the way in that thing, it's permanent. So keep that in mind. I also will repost some pictures of that hair strand just to kind of keep you guys in the loop if you forgot from the last video. Hydrogen peroxide on its own can open up your cuticle and lift your hair a level. I have seen people do this before. I've done it on wigs. When I have clients, their wigs come in and they're black and they're like, I need a little bit brown or just a little bit of lightness. I literally will do a little peroxide, and that will just kind of break up some of that dark color. But without adding a color to it, whatever your undertone is the color that will come. So if somebody's more warm, you will end up with a more reddish, orangish, warm undertone. Okay. Developers, they also have a pH between 2.5 and 4.5. So it just depends on what's necessary for your client. And then also you need to know the difference in developers. We're going to come back to that part, but hydrogen peroxide is considered a developer or an oxidizing agent or a catalyst. You may hear those terms, but they all kind of go together. You also can find it in a cream form or a liquid form. I prefer cream. Cream is just, to me, easier to apply on dry hair because it kind of holds on. If you're doing a toning session at the shampoo bowl, who cares? Like, I'll use a liquid for that. But that's just that part. Volume. Let's talk about volume. So you have different volumes of hair color. The most common are 10, 20, 30, 40. Let's talk about these. 10, depositing. They also sell 5. I use a zero lift from Pravana when I go black. It is considered a 5 volume developer, but it says zero lift on the container. Basically, what that means is it opens up your cuticle just enough to drop some of that color in there, okay? But I also use that for a demi-permanent hair color service. Then you have a 10. You can use if you're going darker, a 10, because you're just opening up the cuticle to deposit. 20 is usually your most common for, like, you're going about 22 levels. 22 levels. You're going about 2 levels or so. 20 is really good. It's usually the go-to. Then 30, if you want to go a little bit more, then you can use 30. When I use those like bright, bright reds, I will use a 30 on my hair. If I'm just kind of going like in a basic calm color, I usually use a 20 on my hair. When I'm bleaching hair, I never go above a 20 because I'd rather go slow and steady instead of rushing and then having results. But that's just me. That's just me. 40, don't touch it. Don't touch it. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what TikTok you saw. Don't touch it. Do you want your client to be bald? Then touch it. If you don't want your client to be bald, then leave it be. Leave it right on that shelf where they left it, okay? Because you don't need it. Don't touch it, okay? So always read the manufacturer's directions to make sure what they prefer you to process things with. But as you become a colorist, you will learn what works best for what shades, okay? But like I said, if you don't learn nothing else from this video, stay away from 40. Please do. Please, please, please. But the higher the volume, the more lift you receive. The lower the volume, the more depositing, the less lift. Okay. So into the nerd terms, the part I like. 10 volume developer is considered 3% hydrogen peroxide. 20 is considered 6%. 30 is 9. And then 40 is 12. They have 50. Now, if I told y'all don't touch 40, y'all already know what I'm about to say about 50. Okay? They have a 50. I'm going to leave that there. But just know, hair is dead. You think it's dead? Because it is once it comes out of this scalp, it's considered dead. Oh, it's going to be dead, dead. It's going to be dead times twice, 2, 3, 4 times if you use that 50 volume developer. Don't do it. And store your peroxide in a cool place, never in anything hot, because what happens is it will start to swell and your bottle can pop, pop. Okay, we don't want them problems. Then we're going to talk about ammonia. Ammonia is an alkaline agent that is used to raise the pH of the hair. This action helps open the cuticles and allow color or dye molecules to go into the hair and enter the cortex. It also helps with hydrogen peroxide in dispersing the melanin. okay, that resides in the cortex. The amount of ammonia, it really depends on the manufacturer. With demi-permanents, you're going to have way less. With permanent, you're going to have more, okay? And then also, when you're using these oxidative hair colors, ammonia, you will see the word ammonia free on some hair colors. That is what I prefer. Okay, that's just me preference. It has too many health risks. You have too many issues with all of the big C word going around. I prefer to use. I know it's still a chemical, y'all, but less is always the better for me. Also, I'm asthmatic that can also kind of trigger asthma as well. But also always read the manufacturer's uh what am I trying to say? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Manufacturer's directions, okay? So we're gonna put a pen in it again, and then we're gonna come back with a bleach color. Just keep watching them, y'all. I'm gonna keep them coming, but I'm gonna try to get straight to the point and pack in as much information in a small period of time. Thumbs this video up, share it, like it, comment. That's the same thing. Subscribe, all of that stuff, and all the extra details and study materials are in the description box. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.